Hi, everybody. This is Krista Giannak, Wise Words That Matter. I work with businesses and nonprofits to help them get noticed. So I'm a copywriter and public relations professional. So technology is a really big part of what I do. As a blind person, I use VoiceOver, and that's a screen reader that's built into the iPhone and the Mac as well to navigate the screen. So I use special gestures, keystrokes, and I use touch typing and all that. And for business, though, I've noticed that there are a lot of tech time wasters that don't just affect me. They affect my clients, my prospects, a lot of very universal things, no matter what technology you use. I asked a question here on this broadcast about which operating system do you like better for your phone, iOS and Android? And I'll answer that question at the end for myself. And I want to talk about the technology that we can all kind of relate to. Email, social media, all that, using the phone. So I've noticed that when I send more email and make fewer phone calls, it's often not worth it. There's so much clutter in inboxes, and what I can do in 5 minutes on the phone often takes a lot longer by email. Any of you have this experience where you're writing an email, you kind of agonize sometimes over what you're going to say, what you're going to send? Let me know if you agree with that, because that's a big deal for me sometimes, depending on what the email is. Sometimes it's just better to be on the phone where I can read the person, whether they understand what I'm saying, whether they're on board, all of that. And right now I'm just opening this video on my phone as well, so I can make sure that it is working. And so subscribers, the other issue is whether you want to subscribe or unsubscribe. I really believe, even though I'm a copywriter, I sometimes write content that ends up in people's email inboxes, and yet I believe that the subscribe button, the unsubscribe button, is your friend just as much as the subscribe button is your friend. And so you might wonder, shouldn't that be a dirty word for me? Well, the thing is, if you're getting so many messages in your inbox, then what you have is so many missed messages. And let's say I'm one of your email list. You subscribe to my email list. You can actually do that on my wisewordsthatmatter.com website if you click on my blog today. So let's say you subscribe to my list, but you have 40 other lists that you're subscribed to. Ultimately, you might have so many missed messages that you don't see my marketing content at all and forget who I am even once you do see it. So the thing is, I believe in fewer full inboxes and more open minds. And that's where the subscribing and unsubscribing with care and not just kind of doing it randomly makes a big difference. You kind of think about, do I want more writing tips and PR tips to get noticed? Is that something that makes sense to me? Am I doing blog posts or thinking about it? Am I doing business bios and other types of copywriting tips? Well, then maybe I want to subscribe to Wise Words That Matter. And there's also some inspirational things as well. Sometimes I'll write about my blind skiing. I have a blog post on that. I'm planning on doing a future blog post about a game that I'm playing and how that relates to creativity and all that. So that's going to be a fun one. Any of you gamers out there? Well, I tend to do everything on my phone. That includes even, playing some games. And of course, that requires some discipline. So I'm going to talk now about time and energy. Social media can be such a time suck. Doing Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. I found I've been devoting so much time to Facebook that the other social media platforms have gone a little under for me. Have any of you found that to be the case? So here are some ways to save some time on social media. So one is by setting up feeds. Facebook allows you to customize your feeds. It's very limited though. Twitter has a better customization feature to customize your feeds. You can follow certain people and get notifications as well, which is really helpful. I love customizing notifications and not looking at Facebook's notification features and letting it spam me. I'm subscribed to a number of groups, so I go in there and I manually look at the groups that I want to look at and respond and comment on posts. That way I'm networking with people, building relationships. They comment on my posts. Ideally, it goes both ways. And if I customize notifications, if I go in there, my iOS Facebook application has this great little feature now called notification settings. And there are notification settings buttons up and down all throughout my notifications. It makes it really easy to decide what I want notifications about. And that's super helpful. It saves a lot of time. The other thing that I do is save links and posts because I get really curious. I like to read articles about a lot of things. I was just at a technology event last night, actually. I was talking to some folks about AI and machine learning, and I had been reading about it. And so that's an example of a topic that is not necessarily directly relevant to my work unless I'm working with a client and writing up a blog post, but it's interesting. So I save the links, I save the posts, because I have to look at what will I gain right now from reading this? Am I building a relationship with a prospect or a customer? Am I reading something that's going to spark an idea that I can use now? If not, I probably should save it for later. So all of these little social media tips, social media hacks, if you were, email productivity organizers, save me more time for writing. I'm not a social media manager. I'm a copywriter and a public relations professional. And so that's really important to me, to have more time for writing, more time to do what I love, more time to network, talk to people, call people, really get a sense of what they need and not necessarily what I need. So now I'm going to answer the question that I asked in the beginning of this video. Which OS is your favorite on mobile, iOS or Android? Well, for me, it's iOS hands down, because iOS has been so friendly to the blind and visually impaired. There are so many applications involved that are accessible. Android has come a long way, but not quite as far as Apple is at the moment. Web browsing, I can do almost everything from my phone that I can do on the computer. And if I add a Bluetooth keyboard with my phone, that adds even more functionality. And iOS has this great feature built in too. As a blind person, I know Braille. So I can actually type in Braille using my fingers as representing the Braille dots and actually typing on the screen. It's so much faster than the little hunt and peck touch method. And there are some other keyboards that also make typing easier that have nothing to do with Braille that I've used and you can use as well. So I certainly love for you to check out my blog, subscribe if you find this interesting. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on your technology experiences. If you're a regular Facebook Live listener of mine or viewer of mine, you've definitely heard about some of the tech glitches that I run into just to do these Facebook Lives every week. And so, but today I wanted to bring some technology that's more universal, some thoughts. So thanks everyone for watching, and I hope you have a great day.